My biggest aha moment of the course definitely came when I realized that teaching isn't either online or face-to-face. It can be a mixture of both, and it can still be considered online teaching, whether it's solely online, solely in a brick and mortar school, blended, or part of the week you're online, part of the week you're in school, or if you're, face-to-face and you're just using those online aspects. So definitely those different setups were kind of an aha to me, thinking, wow, there are more options here. It's definitely not as black and white as I had originally thought going into this course. Another thing that honestly really surprised me was when the module where we watched the full lessons of teachers teaching online and how well the younger students handled using the technology, because that was always my question or my concern going into this. I teach fourth grade, and there are a lot of immaturity issues and behavior issues in fourth grade. My thought was thinking, can they handle, the self-regulation of being online without having a teacher looking over their shoulder? And I was surprised how well, those first graders did with that phonics lesson that we watched. They definitely can handle it. So that was kind of an aha moment for me as well. As far as questions that I still have, I work on a learning support team. So, about a third of my students have learning disabilities. So I'm constantly looking at IEPs and SDIs, specially designed instruction in my classroom, and those requirements for all of those students. And I guess a lot of my questions deal with, do online teachers, have to look at those types of things? How do those students have case managers? How does the whole, IEP system work when it comes to online learning? How do you make sure that you're meeting the needs of all of your students? How inclusive are these online classrooms? My other question comes about assessments, and how do you assess, your students for an online course, especially if you're solely online? How can you monitor to make sure the students, are on the right track and doing what they're supposed to be doing? There are countless times where my students are taking a math test or a science test, and as I'm walking by, I can see, whoa, they're definitely on the wrong page. So I need to, redirect them and make sure that they're doing everything that they need to be doing. In an online environment, I don't know, how does that happen? How do you monitor that? How do you assist the students, when they need it? Do they have to come in and take a class or take an assessment, or do you send it out for them to complete at home along with the rest of their work? So those are definitely two big questions that I still do have after this course, anything to do with IEPs, learning support students in general, just because that's something that I'm familiar with. And then how do we assess those students?